Welcome to this quick tip from South Auckland Woodturners Guild. In this I'm going to talk about marking the centres on the wood that you're wanting to mount on the lathe. The simplest and oldest one probably is simply to take your pencil and use your fingers in a set length so that you can make a mark and a mark and a mark and a mark, and thus get a smaller square where it's easier for you to then say that is the middle and put a dent in there using an awl. That can then go onto the lathe, mark the other end the same way. So that's quite simple. Next thing is you can make yourself a square which fits not tightly, loosely the end of the wood. So when that wood is put in there and twisted around, the hole in the middle is at the center, so we can mark that and quite easily do the same on the other end. So we've got an awl mark without any pencil marks. We can do the same in various sized pieces of wood, so that works quite nicely there for a small one. If we go even smaller, we can make this little device, which is visible on South Auckland Woodturners Guild website under Tips and Jigs. It's simply got a round hole in here. So a square piece of wood fits that round hole centrally, and then we can just give it a little tap with the mallet and we have a central awl mark. This works for all sorts of little thin pieces of wood, as long as they're reasonably close to square. So that's for little pieces of spindle work. Let's look at some bigger items. If we have a piece of square wood still, we can use one of these plastic or metal markers. This is a Nova Woodturner's Dovetail Guide. This piece of wood has its corners missing, but that's all right. We put our marker on one corner and draw a line and put it on another corner where there is a corner and draw another line. In fact, this is long enough. If we wanted, we could still put it on those corners that are actually missing. Okay? So that's for the bigger bits of wood, like that. Now, if we have a round piece of wood somebody's given us, which shows no mark on the top for the center, and we need to know that center to mount it on our lathe, we can use a piece of plastic which we previously made on the lathe, turning it, attaching it to a big faceplate or something, and turning circles on it and turning a central dot. Also, for my convenience, I've drawn 3 lines on here if I want to put 3 feet on something. So here again, we can just align this with the piece that we want to turn and get that centrally between those lines there and make a mark with our awl. Good, we can mount that one on the lathe. Now if we want to put a piece of branch wood or tree trunk on the lathe where we've got a distinctly uneven edge, but this can be nice for a vase because that'll come out differently. We still want to try to find the center of that. So again, we can use this and align that as best we can with the points that are the extreme points of that, and again with our awl mark the center. So it says that's the center, and when we put it on the lathe we should get at least those points and those places reasonably even. That should help you get your wood centrally lined up on the lathe.